MT, I believe he is Tim Duncan. This guy is Tim Duncan. This is
Hmm.
the exact same thing that Tim Duncan did. Tim Duncan did not leave any visible footprint in the world except in two places, and well, three places. Number one, the Virgin Islands, where he's from. Number two, the arenas he played in. And number three, the auto body shop that he loved to go to in San
Yeah.
Antonio. That was his spot. He went there. The only time, Marcus, the only time this guy ever got excited, ever when I interviewed him, ever when I interviewed him, wasn't that very, and he didn't do many interviews either, was when I asked him, if you could get one car out of any car in history, what car would you get? What car would you want to have and drive around? And he said, a 1949 lead sled. And I had no idea what that was. I had to
I
look
was
it
just
up.
about to say that. I have no
It just
idea what
came
that is.
like that's what got him
Yeah.
I'm
excited.
like, they had cars in
You
49?
know what I'm saying? Like exactly.
but
And this dude now
but
Tim's thing was different, and this is what I wanted to ask you, Chris. I think Tim was grounded by a couple of things. Number one, he lost his mom real early. Lost his mom when he was like 14, something like that. And that, believe
yeah.
me, I'd say this from experience, that shit, you never recover from that
Yeah,
shit.
it shuts you down.
Ever,
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
ever recover from that
Yeah.
shit. And it just kind of
Yeah.
sobers you to everything. Like nothing is as important after that. And I just wonder, and the fact that Jokic is from Serbia, and I know what
Yeah.
Serbia has had to go through the last 20 years, I'm
Exactly
sure
right.
he's like, yo, man, I mean, we may lose this game, but it's not the same as these bombs going off 5 feet from where we grew up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm guessing he has a
Exactly right.
sobriety based in something along those lines.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, when you talk about where he's from and what that country has been through, and those people, continue to endure. It is he has this in complete and total perspective, and it's I always also laugh too because when um, there was a point in time where people thought, well, he's just a big soft guy, and I'm like, soft is the last word you need to use for Nikola Jokic because
Like
like those
soft as in
dudes, like
kind or soft
yeah, like
as gentle
yeah,
with his
like
child.
yeah, exactly. So, you're right. I think his upbringing, where that was, is the plays the biggest part into the man that he is today, and also, to Tim Duncan's cars are Nikola Jokic's horses. I mean, they
There
each
you
have
go.
this thing that
Absolutely.
Right, right.
yeah, that they love, and that's where he'll be. I mean, I said we'll never find him again, but if you went to any harness racing track in Serbia, that's exactly where you'll find him. And so it's
Harness
they
racing. My goodness.
yeah. Yeah, it's I know it's crazy. It's crazy. It's there was a trip. I think this was last season actually, when we were in New York, and somebody in New York invited him out. Oh, and it was I'm sorry, it was in New Jersey. Invited him out, and he took the invitation, and then a bunch of pictures. People took a bunch of pictures with him, and he truly loves that. But yeah, these things that are not in the spotlight, but that matter to them, are that's the space in which they live. It's funny. I had a conversation with George Carl one time, in regards to Tim Duncan, uh, as it related to Nikola Jokic, and basically what he said was, Tim Duncan was like I can't remember the phrase he said was the it's kind of like the superstar that you didn't have to manage him. Like he managed himself. He was always uh, he wasn't a knucklehead,
Right,
and
right.
Jokic is that guy, and so in that respect, those two guys I think are exactly the same.